Hello, I'm Bridget from the Lake County Public Library, and today's middle grade book tasting is Tale Spinners Saving Fable, written by Scott Reintgen. We are able to share it with the kind permission of Crown Books for Young Readers, an imprint of Random House Children's Books, a division of Penguin Random House. The AR level is 5.1, and it is 11 points, and the Lexile is 700. This is a fantasy and adventure book, and it's unlike any other book I've read. Everyone in this book is a part of the story-making process. Indira is trying her best to be chosen as a character for a story so that she can help bring her brother, who was never chosen, into it too. Instead, he lives in a working town called Quiver as a miner. They often recruit antagonists who are bitter that they were never chosen as characters there. After years of waiting, Indira is chosen to go to Fable, where the characters go to school to train, to be well-rounded, and build unique skills. It's where she is tested physically and emotionally, in both her auditions and in her new friendships. She doubts she will ever be a protagonist or even a side character until things start to change and get a little funny in Fable for the worse. Throughout the book, you feel what Indira does. She feels defeated at times, insecure, passionate to keep trying though. She has strength and will possibly eventually triumph. I'm not going to put an age limit on this book and just say it's meant for anyone who doesn't think that they could be a hero. So the chapter I'm going to read is when she first gets to Fable and she finds out that she is going to her auditions. It's called Protagonist Preparatory. You could have at least mentioned that we were going straight to auditions. Deus shrugged. That's just the way it works, Indy. She could feel little hands tying knots in her stomach. I'm not ready, she complained. I haven't prepared or studied or anything. How will I even know what to do? It's called instinct, Deus replied. You know, that thing that helped you fly a bird through the sky today? Instinct. That's what the auditions are designed to measure. They throw you into the moment and see exactly what you're made of. What would be the point of allowing people to study beforehand? Indira still felt herself panicking. What if I fail? Everything Deus had said before about becoming a protagonist came echoing back. It made sense that if she really wanted to be the best, she'd have to get off to a great start during auditions. It wasn't hard to see that being a protagonist was probably the only way to drag David into a story with her. And this one test was going to decide all of that? Great. Deus just kept smiling. Remember, you leaped off a cliff today, landed on the back of a majestic bird, and flew above the clouds. I think you're going to do just fine, Indy. Doubts continued to snap at Indira's heels, though. As they rounded the corner, a new building came into sight. Deus did not have to announce that this was their destination. Indira knew at first glance it had to be Protagonist Preparatory. How to describe the school, my dear reader? Fable is the kind of city that isn't set in stone, so to speak. Every few months, the entire city takes on a new look to give its characters a fresh setting in which they might blossom into the best versions of themselves. But the school building always maintains a few qualities. First, it always looks a little older than the buildings around it. Something in the architecture or the slant of the roof or the shape of the windows. This has the pleasant effect of making it seem worn but comfortable, like a favorite pair of shoes. Second, the front doors to the building are always thrust wide open, no matter the weather, no matter the time, no matter the century. Even during the fictional wars of 783, the school did not close its doors because Protagonist Preparatory closes its doors to no one. Indira's first look at the school was just so. A pair of looming Gothic doors stood open, allowing the sunlight to color the interior. A massive group of characters stood off to one side, forming a line that was slowly turning into a jumbled mess. She spied Maxie and Phoenix in the swirling ranks, but before she could join them, Deus hooked her by the collar. "All right. As your benevolent and mischievous benefactor, I would like to leave you with some final guidance before you head into the great unknown that is school." Deus held up one finger. "First, I believe you heard a particular phrase after arriving on the outskirts of Fable. I would guess those words are likely still echoing in your head." She remembered them. "Every cage." Deus made an abrupt shh-ing noise. Indira fell silent, but that did not stop the phrase from echoing in her mind. "Every cage has a key." "Don't tell people your words," he scolded. "They're yours, and they're private. Every character has first words. Consider them a promise and a warning. If you do well in school, those words will be the very first words of your story. If you don't do well," he trailed off awkwardly, "let's just say, I can't snap my fingers to get you out of that." Indira felt the weight of his warning. Every cage has a key. The words were dancing through her head like a promise. This was why she'd come to Fable in the first place. She was a character, and deep down she burned with desire to exist in a story she could call her own. Deus must have sensed her excitement because he was grinning at her in his knowing way. "One final thing." He flashed a hand into his pocket and pulled out a bronze penny. "A parting gift. Give it a spin and I'll come running. It'll only work once, savvy?" She nodded. With a deep breath, she took the penny and shoved it into her pocket. Deus offered her the briefest of hugs. She tried to hold him tight, but he felt thin, as if he had already vanished and appeared somewhere else in the world. "Sorry to run, Indy. There's a rebellious teen locked in a dungeon somewhere." "See you when I need you," Indira replied with a wink. He turned on the spot and vanished. In the distance beyond where Deus had just been standing, Indira saw a little slash of color, as though someone had just ducked into an alleyway and out of sight. She eyed the spot, frowning before turning back toward the school. The next step in her journey was waiting. So she goes on in her journey to her auditions, and things don't always work out very well for her in the beginning, but it seems like her persistence helped her continue through to triumph and gain strength so she can maybe become a hero. If you guys have any questions or comments, please feel free to email us at kids@lcplin.org, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.